a scion of many worlds. Okay, so we have three main methods of mass transportation: a gateway, a teleportation zone, or a series of axiom-based C-17s. The gateway is what I'm leaning towards the most. No getting things through in bursts, and it's still capable of a fair amount of subtlety, so long as I don't use it in someone's living room. Jasper says into the galactic range radio with the impromptu meeting he had called. Vernon was giving him a bit of a silent treatment due to it being get the fuck to sleep o'clock on his little patch of Cerbo, but otherwise things were going well and the challenge had everyone talking, if a little tersely in Vernon's case. Not to mention it's great for morale and easily defended from your side if things go wrong. If it's a teleporting beacon and chamber, then someone could send back some kind of bomb if they get clever and transports can be stolen. We have determined that gunpowder is on the table on Lacron. So bombs can't be very far away, not to mention all forms of bioterrorism. You don't need to understand what a sickness is to understand that festering corpses or feces tend to promote them. Franklin remarks over the radio. And we can make use of this all over the place. Congrats like Cerbo and Vuxa, Lacron is now an undaunted testing ground. Vernon says before a yawn cuts off his next words. Excuse me. Again, sorry for getting you up, Jasper begins. Just step on the gas so I can get back to my Miro Noir. Vernon cuts him off and Jasper reflexively nods. Right, I think you should be able to get back to bed soon enough. I've been doing some digging here with the other nerds and we've actually run across a lot like this. The transport is the slowest and the most maintenance heavy, but it's also the best understood. Most spaceships and basic vehicles run off the same principles, but building a space car on a world that's just moving into the Three Musketeers is a bit of a tall order. Lore remarks before letting out a humming noise. Lieutenant Blue, I've got good news. I've just been handed an entire checklist on how these things are used in various spires and on numerous transport ships. I'll send you the designs and you can pass them to your brother. Really? Just like that? Horace asks. Jasper can't help the tiny flare of jealousy that his brother doesn't have the girly trill in his voice. Ah well, it set them apart and that was something he was at least a little grateful for. Yeah, I had like 3 guys listening in and they just gave me a thumbs up and started looking into things. All this stuff is common enough that it's a part of large-scale transport. Most major shipping doesn't even break orbit and the vast majority of designs are open source. It's just not casually used in public transportation because, can't seem to find a reason. There are some regulations, but nothing too strange. I'll keep digging, but I've already sent the designs. Did you get them, Lieutenant? Got them, Horace replies calmly. This is shockingly easy looking. They've got this down to a science. I've not seen anything like this on Cerbo. The peoples here use either personal transportation or reinforced landing platforms to jump from place to place. Vernon remarks, I think I understand this. It's not that it's unsafe, it's that it's considered odd. Lore remarks after some tapping from his side. He's clearly going at a keyboard. Basically, most teleportation technology is the galactic equivalent of a loading ramp. It's not that it's not usable for a person, it's that it's considered something for freight more often than not. If that's the only problem, then it isn't one. I've got no problem going the express route even if it is for freight. Right. Well, there's a piece that needs some proton in order to keep things properly attuned to each other. You can skip it, but it's a massively potent safety feature that takes the risk down from 1 in a million to 1 in 10 quadrillion. Horace remarks, looking over it. But like I said, this thing is shockingly easy looking. Give me a couple of hours and I'll have something banged together for a pair of gateways. All right. Well, if that's everything you need from me, I've got a lovely lady to get back to. Excuse me, Vernon says, and he promptly cancels his part of the call. Well, there goes Loverboy. I've got a bit more studying to do. I was just doing individual point teleportations. This will help enormously. Funny that it's not mentioned more often when it comes to logistical work. It's been standard practice longer than humans have had democracy. It's like telling you that wearing clothes or cooking your meat is occasionally a good idea. Lore returns. I suppose it's a compliment then. They think we just know this stuff straight out because they're convinced that we're up to speed despite being the new kid on the block. It does say kind things about our perceived intelligence. Lore answers Franklin's observation, and Jasper nods along. Right, I'll give you a ring when things are going better. Do you have anything else you're worried about on that world? Horace asks, and Jasper sighs. That's a yes. I need some political advice. I assume someone with some know-how is listening in. Yes, I've read the dossier on your situation and find myself fascinated. So you're our youngest and oldest soldier simultaneously? An older-sounding woman asks. Ma'am, yes ma'am. May I have the honor of knowing who I'm paying compliments to? Jasper asks curiously. So polite. That won't help much with what I suspect is going on. You will call me Madam Stepanova. Understand, young man? Ma'am, yes ma'am. Jasper returns. He can sense that this is not someone to cross. Excellent. Now tell me what's going on. I'm effectively at war with the Miru Empire. It's a divided semi-religious monarchy that closely follows its god queen. A recent shift in power has made it so that the current god queen is young, teenage young, but I don't know for certain beyond teenager. She believes her own hype in that she's sacred and better, but is clearly a child in every manner that matters. The division is a rebellion that occurred in living memory when the northern half of the kingdom separated to become the Greenstone Alliance. There is a great deal of tension on all sides, and its major food importer in the Gold Lands is in peril, and there are attacks on the shipping lanes thanks to the Bright Dawn Archipelago's false pirate issues. We have serious classism along semi-racial lines of the local population, which are mostly Erumenta, and that divide is along the elements. Light is considered sacred, dark is considered dirty, and the rest are lower classes fit only to serve. Firstly, boy, you need to learn how to give a proper report. Madam Stepanova scolds him. Secondly, your enemies have several clear failure states based on public perception. If your enemies are already hungry due to the major food importer being down, then morale starts in a low state. Tensions on the borders means that a good chunk of the enemy army is away from home, meaning the capital is fairly ripe for the taking, provided that your army is in good shape. My army is well fed and growing. We have access to Aridus Valley and its supplies. Aridus is a minor breadbasket in its own right. Not on the scale of the Gold Lands, but it doesn't have to be. Coupled with the hunting and foraging, and the girls will be growing fat if I don't get them into some fights. Jasper answers, and there's a pensive noise. Excellent. Now there are several ways to go about this. If there's some kind of broadcasting method, which there could be with this axiom nonsense all over the place, if you can show the kingdom that you can best their god queen in battle, it will either break their faith in her or it will install you as something unwise to oppose. Either way, make your win as public as possible and most of the fighting solves itself. I'm not comfortable killing a child, no matter how deluded or irritating. How about treating her like a child and making her seem completely impotent? You mean act truthfully? Easily done. Jasper remarks with a grin. Okay, so I need more information and I need to be bombastic and over the top. It's one method of doing things. If you can perform a silent coup and have her and her cabinet either killed or contained without people knowing about it, you could take over the nation in a more subtle way. Conquest or co-option are your options. These girls I have aren't anywhere near subtle enough. Not to mention the way I confirm my information exposed me to her and her closest circle. Conquer then. No doubt they're speaking about how they will crush you even now. Surround the city unexpectedly and personally grind down the highest level of authority. Let the capital see you on the throne with the crown as your plaything and the queen as your prisoner. Have their banners and flags fall to be replaced with your own before they can even figure out what's going on. The sheer speed of what's happening will give you a second and possibly third victory before you have to fight more than a handful. After that, I'll have a reputation of being unstoppable, or at least very, very hard to oppose, which will bring most people to the bargaining table rather than reaching for a knife. Jasper muses. Thank goodness. Having our only agent on a foreign world be an idiot would have been the kind of tooth grinding that put me into dentures all over again. Speaking of ma'am, why have you not rejuvenated yourself? Surely it's worth the risk to be at your peak once again, to say nothing of blending in with the local population. Jasper offers, and there's a sigh of disgust. I just complimented your intelligence, and you have to ask something so boneheaded immediately afterwards. She spits out in annoyance. I'll spell it out, boy. I have been sent by Mother Russia to see the truth of the greater galaxy and not bring back any tainted delusions. It will be nearly impossible to convince people that this insane galaxy is the way it is without my being clearly and irrefutably changed by it. If I show up again as a 20-something, they'll just assume that some idiot cloned me and tried to pass off the too young clone as me to deceive them. I need every old scar, creak of bone and liver spot to convince people I am who I say I am. Otherwise, they'll send another mission out, this one far less understanding than I am. Ah, fair enough, ma'am. I was not given any dossier about you, so I was uncertain as to who you are and why you're on the Dauntless. Jasper replies, and there's a sniff. I will forgive you this once. No one is flawless. It's when someone has the habit of being an idiot that you must treat them like the dunce they are. Well said. Hopefully I can break that girl of her stupidity. Imagine it, just a few days with me and the religious and political leader of the nation turning to my side. You don't have the skills, boy. That kind of manipulation and mental twisting takes years of training and practice. Still, I like the way you think, Madame Stepanova remarks before letting out a pensive sound. You're dealing with a medieval-style situation while being the only man upon the world. There's a major organization that understands the place of males in the galaxy and is pervasive, literally having advisors and midwives in every nation, right? Yes. Use it. If they're friendly to you, then use them. Use yourself in a marriage of allegiance to bring every major nation on the world into your own control. Wed every queen, empress, grand councilwoman, and sultana you can. You've been thinking about this martially, but with a few choice words you could turn this world from an opponent into an asset. Perhaps not even marriage or such. If I drop down, take out her advisors, and install myself as the power behind the throne, or the person who's teaching the queen, I might be able to avoid a lot of issues. Now you're thinking. Politics and manipulation is all about perception and leveraging it. It doesn't matter if you can or will conquer the world. If you convince the parties involved that you can and will, then you've already done at least half the job. Fuck, I do not have the training for this. Jasper groans as he rubs a claw over his faces and then head. The sensation of pushing down his antenna and having them pop back up helps focus him. Calm down, boy. The first step to controlling the situation is projecting control, even if it's false. If they see you behaving like you're in control, then you plant the seed in their minds. Madame Stepanova begins, and he can almost hear a smile in her voice. She's enjoying this.